Alright, so this is going to be episode 2 of the speedrun, and if you're paying attention, you might notice that something seems a little bit off. Now, first of all, my gear on the same character, or same in air quotes character, is a little bit different than it was at the end of the last episode. I'm also one level lower than I was, and the timer is faster. What happened? Well, a lot of things have happened in the last 24 hours, so first of all, I'm probably not going to be uploading this until Friday, so it basically, instead of doing daily uploads, I guess I'll just do every other day. Gives me more time to, fully flesh out a section of the run, instead of having to panic and rush it. But I did want to do an upload on Thursday. However, I decided I was going to take a quick break, and I figured I'd start watching a show that a lot of people have recommended to me, The Promised Neverland, and, well, I binge-watched the entire first season, so that was like my entire Wednesday night gone. Then today, two things kind of occurred to me. One, I realized that I wanted to get more practice, so I actually worked on this character a little bit for the first video because, as you can see from the name, this is the character I used to get the thumbnail picture in the first video, and I will be leveling that alongside the character you're watching in the videos. I also have a third character that I'm leveling alongside the video character. This one is the first one I do. I basically do this character with no timer going, just like practice the stuff, jog my memory. Then I do the video, and then after the fact, I go back and do an additional speedrun and just try to refine everything that I learned and figure it all out, make sure it's good. But I actually deleted the character that you saw in the first video. I recreated it and got it right back up to the point where we left off, which is why the timer's different and why I'm one level shorter. So, why did I do this? Well, I thought about it, and I realized that I actually need to leave my class quests until later. Now, in the world record speedrun, they do it later because they want to line it up with the quests, and they want to have the mount to make it faster. That's fine. That's not why I'm leaving it until later. I'm leaving it until later for queue times. Now, I knew that queue times would be a moderate issue. Healers have much faster queues than tanks at this point, and I knew it was faster, but I didn't realize it was as big of a difference as it is. We're talking the difference between instant queues and up to 5-minute queues. And the first time I tried to record this, I was getting 12 to 15-minute queues. And that's just run-endingly bad, even for a practice run. That's just not an accurate representation of what it should be. I knew I needed to redo it, and what I've done is I've completely left all of my level 5 through 15 class quests untouched, so that while I'm waiting on queues, I can get those done, and I'm effectively not really losing any time because I'm doing that. Now, you might notice that the time did improve quite a bit. I did miss all those quests, so that makes up for a good amount of time, but now we can clearly see that I'm much closer to the world record time on that initial start than I initially realized. And this is with an additional maybe 3 to 4 minutes of going around grabbing additional aetherites and Thanalan that I'll need for later, because I think that saves time. So, I would say it kind of balances out. Now, the other thing I changed, and this is relatively minor, but I do think it's worth mentioning, is one of the side quests that I picked up at level 4, I initially take a piece of gear from it. And that's what I did in the video that you saw, part 1, and it's what I was planning on doing when I did the thumbnail character. Then I realized the gil reward gives you 1,500 gil, which is enough to buy an entire gear set and then have tons left over. I think it's probably unintended, but it's there, so I went ahead and I took the gil reward. I was able to buy the quest reward and have 1,300 gil left over to buy all of the other items and then have teleportation costs covered, so we're good there. Now, what I'm hoping when I hop into this run is that I'm only going to get maybe a 5-minute tops queue time. Any longer than that, and it starts to become a bit excessive, and I have to just say, the run is inaccurate, I need to figure out a better way to do this. Now, I know what you might be thinking, well, just suck it up and go play healer. And as I said in part 1, if that is what I need to do, that is what I will do. I'm trying out a different strategy here. I'm trying to see if it works, And although things may look bad now, I still am going to continue with this strategy as a proof of concept until the very end. I will complete an entire segmented run with my strategy to see if it's even remotely close. And if I get to a point where at the end, I'm like multiple hours off because the queue times added up, and I'm just looking at the footage and saying, there is absolutely no way that I can turn this into a world record run, then I will say, okay, fuck it, I guess I'm gonna learn the healer start. And while I may not be an expert at healing like I am at tanking, I'm experienced enough with like healer fundamentals that I'm pretty sure I can pick up White Mage. In that case, what I would probably end up doing is leveling a White Mage just casually on my free time, learning it, and then after I actually learn White Mage, I go and I do the speedrun route with a new White Mage. So if I have to do that, that is what I will do. For now, I am going to continue with this, even if it looks like it's not going to be possible. Trust me, I know, I realize that it's definitely not looking amazing, but I want to try, because otherwise we'll never know. But yeah, let's hop into the run. There's like 1 or 2 minor UI changes I'm going to do, or at least check to see if I did. I'm not sure if I copied it over. One is, I do remember that you can skip repeat cutscenes. So, also you can see here, in case you think I'm making it up, /playtime. 1 hour, 11 minutes. There's like an extra 1 minute there from, I think, like when I was closing the game after finishing the run. But you can see that the timer is mostly accurate. So I didn't lie about doing a new character. Actually, does that show up? No, it doesn't. Crap. There you go. You can see it. Playtime. 1 hour, 11 minutes. There you go. I'll cover my chat up again. But yes. So, what was I going to check? Right. It was under system configuration, I think. Or is... No, that's, it's under character configuration. Then general, this thing. Okay, so I did not have it enabled. Now, this will not allow me to auto-skip cutscenes that I haven't seen before. But in the off chance that I need to, like, I don't know, take a boat or a airplane or, you know, blimp, whatever, same thing, multiple times, then this will help me out a little bit. 1 second, just responding in Discord. And then closing it so I don't see notifications again. But yes, so this will help me. Probably not a ton, but it's something. One of the nice things about these cutscene skips here is they prevent the cutscene from even showing up, so you don't have to load into it, skip it, and then load out. It does save a bit of time if you get one of those cutscenes compared to manually skipping it, though most of our cutscenes will be unskippable still, or not unskippable, un-auto-skippable. We will have to manually skip it. With that being said, I think that's most of the UI changes I wanted to make. One thing. The reason I'm doing this, by the way, without the timer going, is because, once again, like I said, I'm not officially submitting this. This is a proof of concept practice run for my own knowledge. All of these changes, you have to remember that when I officially do the speedrun, my UI will be effectively perfect from the first second of the speedrun. So what I'm trying to do here is build like what I believe to be the perfect UI that has every single button or macro I'm going to need for the run. And then when I finally do my actual attempt, I will literally just copy all of those files into my folder from the second I start the run, and I will have everything you see here already planned out. So even though, technically speaking, the timer in actuality is going, my theoretical timer is not, because this is something that, in theory, I would have had created from the time I began my character. And the macro we're going to make is a dance macro, because I remembered I need that for one of the main story quests later on down the track. So I'm just going to make a new one here. Let's do this icon. Dance. And then /dance. Could throw that right there, right next to the other one. Okay, game is seemingly lagging a little bit, so that's not amazing. But overall should be fine. Okay, I think that is every change I wanted to make. Let me just check to make sure. I think yeah, my gear is, I've been trying to keep my armory chest nice and tidy. Alright, so with that, I will start the run. Then go in here, go to Sastasha, join. Less than 5 minutes. Okay, well that's good, but we still... Wow! Let's go. Okay, yes. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. Less than 5 minutes indeed. Whew. And here I thought I was going to have to go and do the, you know, backup strat I did with all the class quests. No, we're getting right into it. Perfect. Okay. I might have clapped into the mic there, but I got really excited. I did not expect an instant queue. This is good news. That is really good news. Oh, and nobody here's watching the cutscene, which is good. Trying to... Okay. Now, this is admittedly a little bit tricky, because not having access to Shield Lob means it's really hard for me to gain aggro on targets that run away. But here we can see that even though there is a Conjurer here, so the fact that they are a Conjurer means that they are not, you know, a high level. Yeah, so they're a returning player. So what I believe is the case here is they are already max level or close to it, and they're simply leveling an ult. And one of the easiest ways you can tell that is if the cutscene never even, like, plays after you skip it. Because that means that the person, or if there was a person that was manually watching it, you would have to wait a few seconds, presumably. So we can reasonably assume that nobody here is a new player, which is good. I also want to eat food, forgot to do that. Every little bit of stats in these dungeons helps. Okay, yeah, this healer knows what he's doing. Yeah, so he's not just spam healing me, but he's actually doing his job and healing me. Love to see it. And the DPS seem like they have a solid grasp of what they're doing. Awesome. Okay, well this is, out of all the Sastasha test runs that I've done, absolutely the best. So I'm glad that it happened on the actual recorded test. Very, very, very happy. Now for Sastasha, first part is relatively straightforward. This part, you need to destroy these giant clans. They'll keep spawning mobs for you to deal with. The first few dungeons, admittedly, are a little bit janky in terms of like how they work mechanically. So now that's dead. I'm gonna go over here. Okay, taunt. Nice. Now that Aurelia, if somebody attacks it, might swap off me. If you're familiar with how aggro and WoW works, like with taunts, it's kind of similar in Final Fantasy. Like, the taunt does not, like, generate threat, I believe. I'm pretty sure it just sets you on top of the aggro table. So if somebody, let's say, has, like, X amount of, like, 200 threat on the mob to pull out, like, a random number, and you taunt, it'll give you, like, I think 201 or something, just barely above it, so the mob targets you. And I believe it targets you for, like, at least a few seconds after. So kind of similar to how WoW taunts work. But one of the other differences is, in WoW, a taunt puts a threat modifier on the target. So basically, once you taunt something, you start generating additional threat from all attacks. So it's really easy to, like, snowball your threat gain. Final Fantasy does not have that. So even if you taunt, if the same person keeps attacking a mob, they will get aggro back relatively quickly, which can prove to be a little bit problematic. Oh, somehow my AoE missed those. Yeah. Sorry, buddy. And see, that's a case where I would have spun around and shield lobbed the enemy, but because I don't have shield lob, I can't do that. I'm hoping it's not noticeable. I hope they're not like, Tank, why aren't you using shield lob? Because I'll be like, I don't have it. I'm sorry. This is the cost of speed. As much as I wanted to have it. Okay, we have to wait. I'm waiting on my Riot Blade. We hit it when it opens up. You might notice, if it hasn't been clear, the giant clam has, like, periods where it opens and closes. And when it's closed, it's invulnerable. So you have to wait until it opens to attack it. Right now. Come on, go. Nice. Okay, I want to make sure I have aggro on all these guys. Brilliant. Alright. So this is the first boss. Which, I mean, it's nothing to write home about. As you can see, it's just kind of a patchwork-style fight with, like, one mechanic. A lot of the early dungeons are relatively forgettable. What do we got here? Okay, that's neat. That's really good. That's, like, super big upgrade for me. Cool. I got both. Okay, I'm definitely gonna equip the helmet. I'm not 100% sure if the necklace is an upgrade, because I quickly glanced at it, and it looked like it was just, like an all-stat kind of necklace, so it might not actually be good for me. We'll see, though. Here, equip, return to inventory. This has to be better. Yeah, definitely it's better. Perfect. 2 upgrades. First boss. That is not common. That is really not common, honestly. I'm lucky if I get a single good piece of loot. In fact, actually, I got like a melee DPS piece of gear on my first playthrough, and the second time I got nothing. So getting 2 items, which are actually pretty good for tank, is very, very, very nice. Nice. This boss is also kind of weird. It just auto-attacks you. You fight him in 2 phases, though. So he hits 50%, then he runs. But this is the part that actually counts as the boss fight. Another piece of gear? What the fuck? This is like the greatest Sastasha run I've ever seen. And here's the thing, if a tank piece like that drops, I'm guaranteed to get it. Because you can only roll need on items like if it's, well, something you need. And pieces like that have like heavy survivability stats, even though it does have like strength and other good stuff on it, I'm the only one that can roll need on it. Even if it's like an upgrade, theoretically, for melee DPS, they can't roll on it. So it's guaranteed to go to me once everybody, like, rolls. Which is absolutely nuts. That's so, so, so good. I swear, I feel like... It's right, people are gonna say I pre-recorded this shit. This is actually insane luck. Whew. Ah, there we go. Key... Fight the enemies. If somebody is able to open the door, that would be really good. I'm gonna try. Oh, I can't while I'm under attack. Maybe somebody else can do it? I'm not entirely sure if you can open this door in combat if you're not getting attacked. Admittedly, speedrunning lower level dungeons is not something I've done. I know there is a community for that. I know, like, the fast routes. Like, I try to optimize my routes when I'm doing, like, duty roulette, but I've never tried to, like, min-max every single second within a run, which admittedly is something that I should probably try to do if I'm going to be consistently running this. So, I might have to look into that a bit more. Oh, wait. Oh, they got the key. Okay, cool. So, it's like, the mobs drop a key, and then you need to then interact with the door. Now, if I had shield lob, what I would have done is thrown a shield over here, pulled this pack, and done it with the other gate guards. So I lost a little bit of time there. Maybe I could have done it with Provoke, but I believe Provoke has shorter range? Maybe I'm talking out of my ass? Yes. There we go. Okay, so thank God someone did it for me. No, it actually has a longer range. Okay, so I am talking out of my ass. Yeah, I probably should have provoked those and killed them together. Oops. We're learning, though. We're learning. Very minor time save, but, you know, every bit counts. Come on, come on. And usually it's good to, you know, taunt on pull. That's just standard tanking stuff. And as usual, because there's 3 targets, single target rotation, or AoE rotation, now that there's only 2, I single target down the high health guy. Technically speaking, in here, it's absolutely better to just full single target down this boss, because at a certain point, he's going to spawn additional adds, so it's technically more efficient to cleave down those first 2 guys with these adds. And the healer runs into melee. Oh, yeah, okay. This is an experienced healer, because he knew that the dogs were going to immediately latch onto him because of healing aggro, so he ran to me so that I was able to quickly catch them all with an AoE. Brilliant. I absolutely love this guy. Oh, it's so nice. Doing a bit of a tricky pull here. Forgive me, healer. You're going to have to work your ass off a bit, but I trust you. I've seen your skills. Make me proud. Oh, my health. It's barely dipping. This is so clean. Okay, I am going to pop a potion here, though. Let's make his life a little bit easier. Stun. Lowering the damage a little bit. 1 mob's dead. 2 mobs are dead. We should be good. Whew. This pull can be a bit tricky. I mean, it's technically not hard, but, like, if you have a bad healer, it's definitely one of those pulls where I start going like, oh, no, don't let me die. This guy's good. He's got it. Now, if you're being really ballsy, you can pull all the way to the gate here. I've seen people do this. I don't like doing it at low levels. Now, if you are going in here, like, as a higher level tank and you have, like, more mitigation options available to you, yeah, this pull isn't too bad. But the problem is, because I only have Rampart and Reprisal, my personal mitigation options are relatively limited at this level, so I still do need to rely quite a bit on my healer at this point in time. So I'm not, like, personally confident in my survivability enough to do a massive pull like that. But admittedly, that would be the most efficient way to go about it. Okay, everybody's here. Good. This boss, you burn him. That's kind of one of the, I guess, issues with early Final Fantasy dungeons. There's these mechanics over here, the unnatural ripples, and there'll be, like, little notifications, like, bubbles begin forming on the water's surface, and we just don't care. We just kill him. There's other dungeons like this, too. They're actually going over there to do the mechanic. They shouldn't be. Especially because they're a melee DPS. So, why... Dragoon, please just kill it. It does not matter. Oh, no. Alright, minor time loss. No, he's not a... That's the thing, he can't be a new player, because he is a Dragoon. He's not a Lancer. So that means he must have done this already. And yeah, see, here's the thing. Now we have ad spawning. But if the Dragoon had just been DPSing... okay, I guess they limit break, so that... Thank you. DPS forget to do that a lot. Loots. What do we got? What do we got? Oh my god, that's good. Oh my god, that's a gladiator weapon. And that's a shield? Wait, what the fuck? I already possess one of those? Wait, when did I get that? What the fuck? Every single piece of loot was a tank drop. Dude, what? Did I get my commendation off in time? Oh, I might have not gotten commendation off in time. I really hope I did. Hey, I got 2 commendations. Cool. I really hope I gave it to that healer in time. Because he deserved that commendation 100%. That was insanely good on his part. I'm always happy when I see a healer that, like, really knows their shit. Just makes my life easier. So, I can't remember, but I guess it's guaranteed that you get, like, a weapon drop or something, and a shield drop. I think it's hilarious that the drops from the dungeon were also both paladin weapons. Like, what the fuck is that? I already had it. I had a duplicate weapon and shield drop. Like, what the fuck? And every single piece of gear was a tank drop. Okay, this is really, really good. What the fuck? I am very confused right now. Was not expecting to get this lucky, but I'm not going to complain. Party finder unlocked. Okay. Yes, thank you. Okay, now I need to go to Gridania, so right there. I have been practicing the teleport thing. I'm pretty confident that I can get the timing down really quick, because like you see there, I hit a keybind and then boom, hit Gridania. It's like, speed. Love it. Way faster than if I had to like open my map and manually scroll over to Gridania. I'm no longer making excuses for myself. I'm gonna learn to do it the faster way. Did some practice in some of the other runs, and we're carrying that through to here. Now, lately, my computer has been a potato, so I know the frame rate is, like, really garbage, and I apologize for that. It's really frustrating for me, too. It's usually a bit better when I'm not recording, but the reality is, yeah, recording does slow it down quite a bit. Okay, so... Now, one thing I'm not entirely sure on, I think it's faster to go to the Aetheryte than run to the gate, but it is a very similar distance, so it's hard to say for sure. Okay, then we go to Blue Badger Gate. Yeah, Central Shroud. Okay. Cool, cool. And I am running to tam-tara Deepcroft, which is down there. Now, if I had the Gridania start, I would be able to Aetheryte TP straight to that place. So that would save about 30 to 45 seconds of travel time, but we're going to have to go to Copperbell Mines really, really shortly. And Copperbell Mines is right next to Horizon, which we did already unlock during the ul'dah start. And that actually takes potentially even longer. I believe it's like a minute and a half. And one of the other things about getting the Horizon Aetheryte is... if you need to go back there, which I believe you do for a few quests, you still need to grab the Aetheryte, and it's actually a bit of a detour compared to Copperbell. Whereas getting here for, whatchamacallit, tam-tara Deepcroft, it's basically a straight shot. We pass right next to the Aetheryte. It's like a 5-second detour going to grab it. So, I don't know. I'm actually kind of convinced that ul'dah is maybe not, like, faster, but almost, like, equivalent in speed. The one thing I think is very easy to agree on, although it makes me sad, is that Limsa has the slowest start for a number of reasons. One, it's just very, very spread out. It also has relatively just bad quest layouts. Some of them take an extremely long amount of time. I think one of the biggest issues that I have with a lot of the Limsa quests is... it'll send you to places that are just nowhere near an Aetheryte. So, if you notice, like, when I went through the first playthrough, a lot of times it would tell me to go back to, like, a location very close to an Aetheryte, and that meant I could just quickly TP and then run a little bit, and I was there. Boom. Easy. Same thing for Gridania. Everything in Gridania is relatively compact. Limsa, it'll say, go to this, like, bridge that's, like, a 2-minute walk from any Aetheryte TP area. It's... a lot of just forced travel time, which really adds up. And then one of the other issues is I mentioned how Gridania, you save time getting to tam-tara Deepcroft, and same with Copperbell Mines if you start in ul'dah. But if you just notice, Sastasha, we got there by taking a boat. That's like instant travel. It might as well have been an Aetheryte TP. So even if you happen to unlock it during the Limsa start, it saves like no time, because there's barely any running to get there that you don't have to do either way. Okay, I go here, clear selection, tam-tara Deepcroft join. Average wait time 5 minutes. Okay, so this says 5 minutes, not less than 5 minutes. So I'm going to take that to mean that it will actually take a little bit of time, and that I should go do my Paladin quest. Can't be insanely lucky every time. Now, one thing I have noticed is that it seems, because this is on a Japanese server... Are you Okay. I'm getting trolled. What is going on? My brain. Okay, well, this is... Fuck, why couldn't I have this luck on, like, whenever I actually end up speedrunning it in the future? Okay, let me refresh my food buff. Okay, so we do have a new player, but they are the DPS. The healer, it looks like, is relatively experienced. They don't even have... Yeah, so they're probably max level, so that should be good. As long as the healer knows what they're doing, that's what I really care about. Man, I was really hoping that at some point I'd be able to go and lock shield lob. Guess not. Game's like, you're gonna make do with provoke and you're gonna like it. Is that what it's called? Provoke? Yeah. What's the name of the monk taunt? So AoEs are just so efficient. Now I'm sure the healer, like a good healer, can contribute pretty well on damage, but it really doesn't compare to being able to do efficient pulls and getting everybody to contribute like really well in AoE. And until you get to a high level, healers actually can't contribute on AoE, so it could be argued that at a certain point it might be better to RNG into a high level healer that is able to do relevant AoE damage than to do your measly single target damage while leveling. Whereas tanks from a very low level get pretty good AoE capabilities. As you see here, I started off with Eclipse pretty early on. And we're just gonna spam it for a while. Until we hit level 40, and then Eclipse can combo into Prominence, I think. Okay. And we keep moving. It looks like some of the DPS are just, like, focusing down a lot of the things in single target instead of cleaving. So as a result, I basically am ending up chain pulling because we get down to 2 mobs and then I just round up more so I can get more efficient cleaving. Okay, here I should be doing some target again. One problem is it actually looks like this healer is a pure healer. They're actually doing no DPS. So yeah, that's a bit unlucky. They're just kind of standing there and healing whenever. At least it means I can do very, very, very aggressive pulls. Like, usually when I see something like that, I'm like, okay, so all they do is spam healing, meaning by doing, like, rounded pulls, I'm getting really no benefit, because, you know, obviously if the healer has to just chunk into you on, like, massive, massive pulls, they're not able to do any damage, so sometimes, like, doing a slightly large pull, but not the big one, is good, because the healer can help too. But here, it honestly might be more beneficial for me to just do, like, colossal pulls and have the healer spam into me. I don't know for a fact, but you know, it's something to consider. Okay. Not sure if that was a lag spike or something. I am playing on Japanese servers, so... You can definitely feel the lack of damage, but... Okay, good, they got that. That's a piece of tank gear. Oh my goodness. Sounds like my dog's getting melted. ult on something? Oh, they're taking damage. I think they stood in an AoE. Okay, maybe I gave this healer too much credit. Potion just to be safe. Well time to level up. This guy's just standing in the doorway casting, so I'm gonna pull over to him. Let's see who's in the box. Okay, so that is not a tank piece, that is a DPS piece. So I'm gonna pass on it because the Dragoon might be able to use it. Probably not. Either way, it's not an upgrade for me since I got chest piece off the previous one. Okay. And we're good. Now, I believe after this, the hallway looks a little bit different. Should be fine. Doesn't become there actually good. Adds lightning damage to auto attacks. There we go. Another pair of plundered gauntlets. I mean, I guess. Sure. People, I don't understand. I feel like this happens all the time. I always wonder if there's, like, something weird going on. But it feels like there's always one guy in every single dungeon group I'm a part of that doesn't loot. They just sit there and don't check their loot whatsoever. And then I have to sit here. And this isn't just at low levels. This happens in high-level dungeons at low levels. And I don't know why. Like, check your loot, people. If you don't want it, you just need to hit pass. It takes like 1 second. I know maybe this is nitpicky. Like, I know some people maybe like to do their selecting at the end of the dungeon, but I just really hate having that pop up there. It's like really fucks me up. That was a slightly aggressive pull, but it worked out. It's fine. The healer's spamming cure on me when I'm at full HP, so they are definitely a one-trick pony in that regard. Now this thing is useless. Okay. Want to line myself up here. Missed. 2 here. And back up so the healer can heal me. I'm gonna pull over this way and attack this caster guy. Swap the single target rotation. Nice. this way really quick. I just need to aggro them and then get back. Aggroed, and then back so they can reach me. Feeling caution, pushing, whack. Tripping over my words, fine. Trying to make sure. Okay, we're not going to be able to group all of them up, but I would say this is a bigger clump. So I'll take it. Want to make sure this guy goes down. Start separated. I can start breathing. Nice, that guy's got it. Perfect. Use Cultist Rosary. Yes. It is kind of funny how, like, the actual boss fights end up being so much easier in Final Fantasy, because, like, you can't actually enter them, obviously, until you've cleared out all the trash. But the trash is kind of designed to be done one pack at a time. So if you do really aggressive trash pulls, they can be extremely difficult, but the bosses at low levels end up being, well, this. This, I believe, doesn't actually count as a boss, though. I'm going to start heading over here to show that I'm going to be doing this orb. Somebody else goes to the other one. So this is where if the healer was paying attention, they would start positioning themselves over by the orb to quickly interact with it. But they have one thing on their mind, and that is cure. This does count as a boss. So there's 4 sources of loot in this dungeon. Huh. Interesting. Okay, that's what I got last dungeon. Lots of tank gear right now. Oh, what the fuck? How did the healer pull that? Because I definitely didn't pull that, but no, Johnny Ringo's gonna be stuck. Wait, I think he can teleport back in, though. Okay, you all saw that. I didn't go. I don't know, I'm not a fan of this healer. I think I'm going to give my commendation to this guy. Like, Johnny Ringo, you know what? I can't fault him. He's a new player. He's watching the cutscene. That's fine. But this healer is just AFK for half the dungeon, spammed cure on me, and then... I don't know if they did it accidentally or on purpose, but it looks like they pulled the boss. Johnny Ringo should be able to press a button and enter. I believe there's like a pop-up that says, enter instance area. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 99% sure that is a feature that they added at some point. There we go. Yeah, he's in. Okay. But I would have waited for him. I'm moderately annoyed that they just went ahead. See, I may be a speedrunner, but I still respect my strats. It's a bit hard to get aggro on all these guys without shield bobs, so I'm doing my best here. I think I've substantially generated aggro. I can now finish off the inconspicuous imp, so I can leave down the rest. Well, this one was a little bit slower. Oops, somebody's limit breaking. Nice. Dragoon's getting my combination. Absolutely 100%. Oh yeah, it auto gives you gear. I noticed I got plundered sabatons automatically. Neat. That is cool. Alright, Mr. Dragoon. It's one of the rare cases where I don't give it to a healer. There you go. Oh yeah, I already got that. And yeah, so exit, duty, 2 combinations. I'll take it. Cool, cool. Oh wait, there's no cutscene? Alright. Thought there was. Well, so much for going to ul'dah. Ugh. I mean, I can't complain about instant queue times, but I had this whole strategy planned out. I recreated the character just for this. Admittedly, I think this is a more accurate assessment with this, because this is still what I plan on doing during the run. I'm sure there's going to be one queue time that stretches for, like, way too long. Okay, now I go to ul'dah. MP is never something I need to worry about at this level. I don't think I need to worry about MP as a tank for a very, very, very long time. Okay, Aethernet, Adventurers Guilds. While I'm running, let me equip new gear. And I got boots, right? Anything else? Yeah, no, but we determined that that was a healer piece, and therefore not something I want. Into Copper Hell. Okay, now we go to Horizon. Maybe get to do my quest this time. Or maybe I'll just keep getting really lucky. Yeah, so it looks like when when like general player, I don't know what the right word is. When there's not a lot of players, queue times between tanks and healers balance out a lot. But during prime time, it looks like it shoots way up. And even though it is like kind of prime time for North America right now, you can see it is 8:47 p.m. where I am. It is currently like, I believe, very, very early morning for Japan, which makes sense as to why there's not a lot of people playing. We're good. Just triple checking. Now, Copper Bell is, I'm not going to call it hard, but it's probably one of the most, like, weird dungeons out of the 3 that you start off with. There's a lot of very strange mechanics that you have to deal with. Okay, I'm going to go to ul'dah. Well, less than 5 minutes, that's promising. I'm still going to go to ul'dah. Maybe I'll at least be able to pick up the quest of the Gladiators Guild. Who knows? We've gotten farther along than we did before. Gladiators Guilds. Yeah, obviously I'll explain Copperbell as we start to get through it. But the second boss in particular is like where I'm going to start to have to post stuff in chat and say like, hey, this is how you do this mechanic. Make sure you don't mess it up. In a polite way, of course. Okay, talk to the guys in the quicksand. Tell them to face me. We've seen this before, but we're doing it again. Because this is a new character. So, Menacing Marauder. And then I do this. You don't actually have to be on an incline, I found out. It's just the walking backwards if you time it right. Okay, then this guy. That makes it much faster. Go. And the nice thing about the level 5 quest, if I recall correctly, is that there's no actual instance that requires us to not be in a queue. Every single other quest after that, there is a certain point where we need to have finished our dungeon queue before we can do it. Okay, go back. I'm not. I can't move. Can't move. What the hell? Fine. That actually works out really well, because I'm actually literally right by the quest hand in point for Copperbell Mines. Calculated? No, it wasn't. Complete luck. So I think one of these guys drops a key and we open the door. One of the most annoying parts about Copperbell is how many, like, locked doors there are. So it's not just about, like, killing the mobs. It's, you have to, like, kill the right mobs and then get them to drop the right loot, and then it's, okay, we got our tiny key. These guys look like they know how to open the door. Perfect. And then hopefully everybody gets onto the lift. Pull the lever. Yes. There's also one section where there's mobs that you can fight, or you could just run straight to the lift and go down. So a lot of people will stand there and fight the mobs, and I'm sitting in the elevator like, come on! Ooh, bit of a frame hang there. Ooh, my frames are actually really hurting right now. That's not fun. And then something should pop out of the wall, maybe? Is that not here? No, that must be a bit further down. So I'm gonna keep going. It's like right there, right? There we go. Pop my damage reduction. And then some mobs should naturally run away, so that's good for us. Now, it's not always worth it to skip mobs like that in dungeons. A lot of sections in a dungeon will require you to kill all mobs before progressing. But some early dungeons don't have that check, so you can just kind of run past mobs and, you know, just ignore them. That said, I don't always recommend doing this. The reason I'm doing this is because every single person in my group right now is at least level 30. So I know that nobody else here is a beginner, especially the healer. Even though they have, I believe, the... Yeah, but they're a sprout, but because they're a speller, I know that they've already done this. So, they're not going to be, like, super confused, like, where's the tank going? They at least will kind of know what's going on. And a lot of times, this is just general tanking stuff, but when you're pulling new packs, you don't want to just, like, charge ahead. So you can see there, I drag these guys in just by going a little bit, throwing in a taunt, and then retreating. Oops, accidentally bumped my keyboard there. But situations like this, now that there's only 2 mobs, I want to start moving to get to the next section. You always want to try to have at least like 4 or more mobs that you're fighting. So grab him, and then we pull back. Pop Rampart, so that I can survive. Pop my damage reduction. Or damage buff, not damage reduction. Then Reprisal. We should be good. I haven't had to use many potions. In fact, all the potions that I used in Sastasha were, in my opinion, kind of not needed. I did take a little bit of damage there. Just to be safe. It's one of those things where potions are really nice if you have a bad healer. If you have a good healer, they're more like an oh shit button. But because they are on the GCD, they can be a bit tricky to use. But they are worth it, especially because as a paladin, ironically, Nice. Got fire sands. But yeah, as a paladin, I actually have no self-heals for now. You get a bunch later. Which is kind of funny, because paladin is, like, known as the self-heal tank. But right now, warrior is more of a self-heal tank than paladin is. And there's another one on top of that pile. I believe they're going to get it. Perfect. Now, if somebody would be so kind as to enter the fire sand in there. I'm going to do it. I stunned the mob. That way it didn't interrupt me. And then activate the blasting device. That person might get it first. Perfect, they did. Alright, so this is the first boss fight. Being very generous with the... Oh, I completely whiffed there. Nobody saw that. Here, my concern is not damage, because they all die so fast. So I'm just trying to make sure I have threat. If I do this properly... Nobody killed that off. Okay, yeah, then this is where that spawns. Always forgetting that exact spawn pattern. Go in here, hit that. I stand right here. Should hit all three. Perfect. And now they're all grouped up for the DPS to cleave down. Let me get a flambeau. So it's basically like you fight wave after wave of monster, then the boss appears. The monsters themselves are pretty easy. I'm gonna stand right here, hit. Got all of them. Now we group them all up. So it's way more important than, instead of me doing damage, I try to basically position the mobs so the DPS can just one-shot them. Because they have such low health, that's a bigger concern. Now, I can't remember. Does the boss spawn? Okay, the boss spawns. Perfect. And now we just burn it. If he gets Immortalize off, he gets a pretty hefty damage reduction, so I just need to stun that in time, and we're good to go. I'm gonna pick up Tiny Key, hopefully somebody goes for the door. Oh, come on, you're gonna make me do it? Come on. Come on! I don't want to have to do everything right. Let's greed on that. Okay, run to the elevator. This is the room I was talking about. Everybody should just run to the elevator. It's much faster. Oh, it's just leash. Did I get the necklace? Nice. Wait, is that the exact same as the one I had on? Oh, this one has slightly more stats. Okay, cool. This room. Right. Now, normally I would just shield lob into here. Ah, they leashed. That's what I was worried about. Yeah, because that's the problem. If you have them run too far, they leash. So you want to provoke one room and then shield lob the other room. And if you do that and line them up right here so they don't go too far, then they shouldn't leash. But because I don't have shield lob, I was only able to get one. Oh, move out of that. That's gonna explode. Oh no, that guy died. Unfortunate. I should be able to rest him there. Yeah, so whenever the blasting caps or any of those NPCs that you see explode, you get the hell out of there. That will one-shot you. It's obviously very easy to dodge though, so not a huge concern. Come on, nobody's going for the blasting device? It only takes one person to resurrect him. Don't kill bombs. AFK until I start killing. And then, of course, yeah. So the way that this fight works, you need to get the blasting cap to explode, and he will basically split the Icarus Ire into little sections. So my job is to just make sure they're in the circle and to hold aggro on the slimes. And nobody... Okay, it hasn't activated yet. So when that lever activates, somebody needs to pull it. There we go. Come on, guys. Okay, there we go. Cool. I thought they weren't pulling it because his dance animation interrupted it, but... Alright. I'm being too jittery. That samurai is scaring me. I think they're just trying to fuck with me, because they're not, like, going full force onto it. So I think they're just, like, seeing how low they can get it. There's no reason to attack it whatsoever, though, I should have. So that samurai is just, you know, increasing my blood pressure for no reason. God damn it, there they go again. Samurai, please! Oh yeah, okay, they're just fucking around. Now we go. Alright, Plunder Chain. Yes. Nobody's gonna go near the blasting device! Ah! Come on! Why am I doing all of the things? That's a little frustrating. Like, I mean, it's a very, 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 very minor time loss, but that's almost like dungeon etiquette, right? Like, why are you making the tank do all of the interaction things? It's not my job. Anybody can do that. It's so easy to just go over there, wait by the blasting thing, and then the moment I load in the fire sink, somebody else does that. Come on. That's clean. I've done a few different paths through this room. I believe that is by far the fastest. Okay, hug the wall here. I'm just gonna grab aggro and keep running. I want to start the cutscene so that if somebody watches it, we can kill the mobs while they do that. We can cleave it down. And he's gonna run to the wall. I think he picks a random wall. I'm not 100% sure. It might always be this wall. Maybe I'm thinking of Harldan. And yeah, in a similar theme with the other dungeons, you just kind of ignore the mechanics that happen here. So the way this works is these ads spawn, but they don't actually attack players. If I watch it carefully, it goes to a wall. So it walks right past the caster over there, and it starts attacking one of the other walls. So it keeps spawning ads, and they'll basically go around and break open each of the walls to spawn additional ads. But the ads don't actually attack you until every single one of the walls is broken. So it's not really so much an ad mechanic as it is like a soft enrage. I messed up. And as long as you kill him before all the walls are broken, it's like not even remotely an issue, which is really, really easy to do. What do we got? Nothing, nothing. Sure, I'll take an Orchestrion roll. And healer is good. If you hit abandon duty after the duty's already complete, it just counts as leaving the dungeon. It doesn't give you any penalties. I wish they would change that, because I remember the first time I clicked that button, I was like, oh, it says abandon duty. Like, abandon seems so scary, but it doesn't actually count as, like, abandoning a dungeon with, like, all the penalties that comes with it and stuff. No, I want to talk to Momodi. God damn it. Oh, there we go. This one's pretty quick. I don't know why the other bodyguards have, like, no health. So there I'm trying to make the most out of my damage. So instead of getting a lot of overkill, I'm trying to make sure I build up into a Riot Blade on that guy, and then drop the Riot Blade into the high HP one. I mean, say what you will about Final Fantasy. Love it or hate it, it has some bomb-ass music. And this isn't even, like, the good music. This is, like, the decent music. And then you get to Shadowbringers, and it's like, oh. God, that shit is so good. Like, I literally have Insatiable as, like, the wake-up ringtone I have for morning alarms. That's the Shadowbringers boss theme for, like, dungeon bosses and stuff. And god damn, it's so good. I love that track. Okay, go to the Waking Sands in Vesper Bay. I do this. Okay, Fisherman's Guilds. This is the fastest way to get... Not Fisherman's Guild. What am I doing? It's Arcanist's Guild. Ah! Okay, that's like a 7-second, 10-second time loss. I don't know. Brain. Good job. And then get ready to skip the cutscene. Jesus, this cutscene is really long. I think I'm going to take a quick break after this. The video will still keep going, obviously, but personally, I need to take a break. One, I'm a little bit hungry, but that's not a big deal. The main concern is just these loading screens. I I'm kind of concerned because obviously I'm gonna have to do the 15 hours in a single segment, and I really don't know what's been wrong with my computer. It's just been obscenely slow as of late, and it's really frustrating. I might do a cleanup or something to make sure that there's nothing running in the background that I'm not aware of. Like, hopefully no viruses or anything, but I'm starting to just get a little bit concerned. Like, this performance has been really, 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 really bad the past few weeks. And maybe my computer has just finally hit its, like, expiration date, or, I don't know, maybe something's funky. Okay. Okay, go to Camp Drybone, and we already planned for that. Perfect. And then the moment I load in, I'm going to pause the timer. And the video will resume whenever I, come back. It'll be literally right from here. But I need to take an IRL break real quick. But, for all intents and purposes, it'll be the same for you guys. Alright, and I'm back. It's been a few hours, but ready to jump right into it. Oh, wait, gotta resume the timer. Almost forgot. Okay. So we got a few quests here, and then after all of those, we have to kill a Freet. And... ooh, this is always a tough one. See, it's always tricky with Camp Drybone, figuring out where the most efficient exit is. I believe for this quest, the most efficient exit is this one. The other one is surprisingly, like, open at the end, so you can get pretty good distance on most. Yeah, this is definitely faster. So I'd say in most cases, this is the faster exit. And I get these guys. Now, although over-leveling in many cases in the speedrun is not super important, because most stuff is instanced and we get scaled down, you can see there are cases like this where I'm level 29 and these guys are level 12, so they just kind of melt. That does help, being a bit over-leveled. But it is not always the case where that's relevant. Then, Camp Drybone. Gonna do a lot of teleporting back to Camp Drybone. That said, I mean, if you notice our gil at this point, in terms of gil amounts, we've rounded the corner. I'm never gonna need to worry about my gil amounts ever again. Teleportation costs at this point are just non-important whatsoever compared to the amount of gil we're actually going to be making. So, I just don't even need to be worried. Now, which one is this? Aha, this quest. Okay. No. Fuck. I'm not meaning to talk to him. Alright. Most of these quests are honestly relatively straightforward. Like, there's really not a lot to comment on. We're just going through talking to NPCs. Pretty basic stuff. You know what? Here's one thing I realized earlier is kind of important. Shields. So, let's talk shields. Now, so for maybe people who aren't familiar, unlike most other MMOs where, like, you equip a variety of weapons, in Final Fantasy XIV, every single class has only one weapon. There is... Actually, I'm going to keep that for this demonstration. So I'm going to just take the money here. I'm going to be taking the money for most of these quests. And to get to the church, this is the fastest exit. So, most games, obviously, you have lots of different weapons. Final Fantasy XIV is unique in that each class uses a single weapon type. And Paladin is additionally a bit unique because it has a main hand and an offhand. Ooh, good thing I checked. Didn't realize I had those. Okay, return to inventory, and then quest thing is up there. This is downgrade. Then I need to go up that way. This is a downgrade. Okay. Armory chest has been cleaned. And I need to interact with this. So, Paladin, relatively unique in that it uses two different weapons. We have the one-handed sword and the shield. And most classes will only have one. I don't know if there's another class. There might be like a caster that has an offhand. I'm honestly not completely sure, so don't, like, get mad if you're like, oh my god, you said that Paladin's the only one with an offhand, but, like, this one healer uses an offhand. I really don't know. I only play tanks. Well, that's actually not entirely true. I only play tanks and some DPS. I have never played a healer in this game. Well, I've messed around with it, but I've never seriously played it for, like, more than 5 levels just to see what it's like. The only DPS I've played are, like, I played Red Mage a lot. Red Mage is probably, like, up there with my tanks in terms of how frequently I've played it. But other DPS specs, I've tried, but never to the degree that I've played tanks or Red Mage. Anyways, that being said, I don't know of any other class that uses more than one item. It is balanced out by the fact that if you look at most costs for weapons, so there's, like, certain weapons that you have to buy with tokens, and let's say that buying a weapon costs, like, 10 of these tokens that you get from raids or dungeons. Well, then, for Paladin, it'll be, like, 7 tokens are required to buy your one-hander, and 3 tokens are required to buy your shield, which, in some ways, actually gives Paladin a huge advantage in most content, because if you're trying to get a really big survivability increase, Paladin can get their, like, endgame shield much earlier than most people can get their, like, weapon upgrade. And if they're going for damage, you can just get the sword. Like, I guess 3 tokens earlier than most people. So the cost is the same, but Paladin gets, like, half the power, like, up front, instead of having to wait the entire time to get, like, the full weapon upgraded, which is definitely extremely valuable in endgame content. In many cases, because I would say there are more cases where you get endgame items with tokens than cases where it, like, actually drops. Like, a lot of times, the raid bosses will drop, like, a token for, like, a weapon, and then you have to go to a vendor and redeem that token to get, like, your raid thing of choice. So, generally speaking, Paladins actually kind of benefit from the system more than it's a detriment. That said, I'm kind of not wanting to talk about that aspect of it. What I want to talk about is different shields, and which shields are better than others. Because there definitely is, like, a priority system. And I should note that this is not as important for endgame. Most endgame shields are pretty standard in terms of stats, so you're not going to, like, really need to care. It's literally just pick the shield that's the highest item level, and the highest item level shield will usually have a very balanced stat prio. But especially when we look at, like, the older shields from the base game, which is what we're speedrunning through right now, you'll start to notice that they have lots of different, like, stat allocations, especially, and this is the important part, regarding block strength and block rate. So this is something that for a while I wasn't aware of, like, how this mattered, whether I should even care about block strength and block rate. What did it mean? I mean, I kind of had a general idea of what it meant, just based on, like, you know, common sense. But I wasn't entirely sure exactly what it translated to, and which was better. Like, should I be prioritizing block rate or block strength? And I think when I initially went through a story, I kind of figured, oh, well, this is something that I'll just figure out when I get to endgame on my Paladin. And then when you get to endgame, the stats are balanced. That's a design element they just kind of didn't carry over from A Realm Reborn. But while leveling up, it is good to know. So, if I look at this shield here, it has high block strength and low block rate. Now, if I look at my currently equipped shield, it's the opposite. low block strength, high block rate. And generally speaking, these stats are pretty balanced. If you have a lower strength, you'll have an equally higher block rate, that kind of thing. So it's not like you increase your block rate more than you'll increase your block strength. No, they kind of increase or decrease proportionally. So what really matters is which stat is more important, which one do you want. And if you're familiar with, like, WoW tanking, it really is pretty, honestly, straightforward once you understand it. Block value, I think is the term that's used in WoW, is effectively block strength. Makes sense. And block chance is effectively the same as block rate. Now, it's not a percent block chance, so obviously this does not have a 69% chance of blocking attacks. The block rate just scales as a stat, and it will increase your percent. That being said, generally speaking, because you're not guaranteed to block, at least not at this stage. So, Camp Drybo. You're not guaranteed to get blocks, and we don't have anything like, you know, World of Warcraft Warriors shield block, which guarantees a block. I do later on, but at this stage, I don't. Right now, it's completely up to chance whether or not I block an attack. So I have a chance to have my shield do nothing at all. And generally speaking, the amount of mitigation that I'm going to get will be higher if I have a higher block rate than a higher block strength. Now, I cannot take credit for this on my own. I was curious before I started doing the speedrun, so this is something that I did research in. And a lot of people back in the A Realm Reborn days apparently, like, put together some math and figured it out. And there were, like, detailed things about, like, what shields were best and why block rate was better than block strength. So, full credit to all of those random people on the forums. I read through a lot of different posts trying to figure out which one was best. And hold on, I need to here. You have to equip these pieces of, like, shepherd's gear if you want to talk to these guys, which is a bit odd. I don't really like this quest. I think that they pruned a decent bit in A Realm Reborn, but there are certain quests that I really do wish that they just removed. Like, this quest, like, it's such a product of its time, really. Let me go ahead and also move this to that keybind. That's what I normally use for sprint. I only had it on 7 as, like, an experimental thing when I was doing early speedruns. But yeah, this quest where you have to, like, equip certain gear in order to talk to people, I get that they kind of do that later on, but it's very few and far in between. I don't know. I really dislike quests like that. Especially because I don't really personally feel it adds a whole lot to the story. I want to say going out this way is also faster, but I could be wrong. Who knows? And you also have to do it while speaking to Thancred. Either way, getting off topic. So... shields. Right. Now, there are, as far as I know, 3 main types of shields. And they are called tower shields. So, I was about to say, why didn't I equip that? It's because the shepherd thing. Derp. Tower shields, so that would be a towered shield. High block strength, low block rate. There are kite shields, which are ones that basically have an equal amount of both. And then there are targes, I think is the name. Where's the Vesper Beethovens? Ah! I was supposed to add that to my bars. I forgot. Yeah, so tower shields, kite shields, and targes. Now, at endgame, mostly, from what I remember, you're going to see a lot of tower shields, and you're going to see a lot of kite shields. And generally speaking, at endgame, it's balanced out by the fact that you really only have, like, one really high item level shield. Like, your mythic raid equivalent in Final Fantasy, it's Savage raid, but I assume that most people that are watching this are coming from WoW, so I'm trying to, at least when I explain certain things, explain it in, like, WoW terms. But the highest level rating in Final Fantasy is Savage rating. Basically, for WoW players, Mythic rating. And your tokens from that difficulty only give access to, I believe, one shield. They may have changed that. But if I recall, there's only a single type of thing that you can buy. Central Panel Lamp. So it doesn't matter. You're gonna take the highest rate difficulty shield. Even if one has a slightly different block rate, that's gonna have infinitely more, like, defense and strength and blah-de-blah, and it's going to be the clear winner. So this isn't so much of an issue at that point, and they even, like, started to phase out Targes as a whole, which makes sense because they are very, very strong from the math I was reading. Because having a really high block rate, if you get it to a certain point, you're effectively getting a block on every single attack, so even if your block strength isn't incredibly high, the overall damage reduction you're going to get is much, much, much stronger overall. And the real strength in something like a tower shield would be if you're trying to block, like, tank busters, like gigantic, large, single hits. And if you can guarantee a block, which at higher levels, Paladin does have numerous ways to guarantee blocks, then tower shields can be quite good. But I think for the vast majority of this run, because, first of all, I mean, what am I really going to do other than, like, dungeon tanking? And even, like, against raid bosses at low levels, you don't have too many tank busters. So, generally speaking, block rate's going to be more important for me, but also, I think that without the ability to, like, actually game my blocks for most of the run, I just have no incentive to use something like a tower shield. I forget what level I get Sheltron, but I believe that is the first ability that actually lets me, like, trigger a block at a nearby point. So when I get Sheltron, yeah, tower shields become significantly better because I can control when I get my blocks. But even then, a lot of A Realm Reborn stuff is just auto attacks. I'm trying to think. I know Shiva has mechanics. Like, when you get to the very, very, very end of the storyline, yeah, you have bosses that have, like, pretty good mechanics. But at this stage, yeah, you're not going to find it so much. And then, of course, in the expansions, they start to increase the amount of mechanics in each boss. I mean, honestly, even by the time you reach Heavensward, there's a lot of mechanics. Like, yeah, actually, I should say, the Steps of Faith, I believe, have a decent amount of mechanics. Maybe some tank busters, I forget exactly. And Shiva, I know, definitely has tank busters. I think Titan might have tank busters. Even Garuda. But, like, not so much on, like, the lower difficulties. I don't know. Maybe, like, people are pulling their hair out. Like, maybe I'm talking out of my ass. I admittedly have not really tried to do... I've done, technically, all of the original Extreme Trials, but I did it unsynced, just to, like, farm the mounts. The only synced trial that I've done out of the originals is Shiva. But I did, Shiva... whatever that difficulty was called. I forget the name of it, where it's like a rotating system where every, like, few months they put, like, a new old boss in, like, a scaled-up format. But it's basically equivalent to, like, what doing Extreme at, like, the current day would be like, or something like that. And I did the one for Shiva. I didn't do any of the others. And admittedly, that was fun. Shiva is a really cool boss. I was actually quite surprised. Because after seeing how standard, I guess, a lot of the older Final Fantasy content was, I kind of figured, yeah, A Realm Reborn just, you know, wasn't much. There wasn't anything interesting going on. But then I did that, like scaled up Shiva boss fight, and I was like, holy shit, this is actually a really cool boss. There's some really cool mechanics here. Like, you had, really interesting tank swaps. First of all, it was solo tankable, and, like, I mean, any boss that's solo tankable, I'm like, oh, yes! I love solo tanking bosses. It's just so much fun for me. Now, one thing I kind of thought of. None of these mobs have heals. There's only melee mobs and archer mobs. Now, I haven't tested this, but at 50%, this guy will trigger the end of the fight. And because there's no advantage to killing the other NPCs because they don't actually heal him, I wondered if maybe if I just burn him down to 50%, it's faster than killing all the ads. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I know I said I usually leave the experimental strategies for my other run, but I didn't really think of that until now. So this is still, in essence, an experimental run, because it is not the official world record attempt. That will not be for another week, maybe? I don't really know how long I'm going to wait. I think I'm definitely going to finish this run for YouTube. I don't know how many other runs I'm going to do off the record to see. I think what I'll do is if I end up realizing that the tank run will not be sufficient to get world record, then I will do one more practice run uploaded to YouTube in a similar format of me learning the Conjurer Rak. If I absolutely give up, do the full tank run, and realize this will not work, that's what I'll do with it. That being said, if I complete this tank run, and I find, wait, the time is really, really, really close, I might be able to get world record with this, then I will just go straight into a world record attempt after doing maybe like 1 or 2 more practice runs. But I'm not going to do additional practice runs of tanking on YouTube. That'll just be like me trying to run through it as fast as possible, off video, stuff. Okay, so this guy's pretty low, but we haven't phased yet. So I'm curious. Maybe it's like he has to hit a certain health threshold, and all the other mobs have to be dead. We'll see. Okay, no, it looks like it is just 25%. I think I just got the numbers confused. You have to get them to 25% instead of 50. So I was correct. Okay, well, it's a good thing I tried that strategy. It paid off. You don't have to kill the other mobs, confirmed. And now we can do a freet. Let's go here. How long is the queue going to be? Average wait time, 5 minutes. Okay, let's go, go, go. Ul'dah. What? Okay. This is working out. I mean, this is a good sign. So this proves that you don't always have long queue times. I think it really does depend on the time of day. Also, I remember somebody said the Ifrit cutscene was unskippable. I don't know why somebody thought that. It definitely is skippable. Alright, Ifrit. So Ifrit is... I mean, he's not a hard boss, but I do still need to do the mechanics. I can't ignore it. Now, I do notice, okay, my healer's in range. I saw him pretty far. Now, you might notice he has a cone attack, so logically speaking, you want to make sure you face him away. He does these little eruption circles. Now, one thing that is funny is if you get past the Ifrit's one-shot phase, it is actually possible to solo him. There was one time where in a duty finder, I got a Ifrit hard on my roulette. And every single person died to the one-shot mechanic, but I popped Super Bolide and then potioned out of it, because I main Gunbreaker at max level. Oh, wait, no, nobody's killing the Infernal Nail. I didn't even notice that spawn, because Ifrit's big fucking face is... Ah. Okay, so this is the main mechanic of Ifrit. We need to kill the Infernal Nail, and we got it. Nice. Okay. So we should be good. Now, if you don't kill the Infernal Nail, you get absolutely blasted. On hard difficulty, there are way more Infernal Nails. And that is what I mean by the one-shot mechanic. So I managed to survive it, and then Ifrit was at, like, basically no health. So what you're able to do, because he animation locks himself a lot, and a lot of his mechanics are avoidable, as Gunbreaker, I literally just kited around the room. Oh! Okay, I only got hit by one. That's not too bad. But yeah, I kited around the room and just used some of my ranged abilities to do damage to him, and then every single time that my, whatchamacallit, damage reduction things came up, I would just run into melee, pop all my CDs, and just burn him really quickly. And this took like 2 cycles. It wasn't super long, but it ended up being like 5 minutes. Let's get the healer combination. Leave duty? Yes. But yeah, so you definitely can't solo a Freet. So that was my, ace in the hole. I do not have my immunity at this point, though. And I know I probably used like a lot of buzzwords there because I was just telling a story without really thinking about, oh, is this going to make sense to a non-Final Fantasy player? But I mentioned Super Bolide. Super Bolide is Gunbreaker's immunity. It's a really fucking meme immunity. I love using it just because of how troll you can be with it sometimes. So if, like, I have a healer friend, like, healing me, sometimes I'll just randomly pop it. Because what Super Bolide does is it gives you immunity for a few seconds, but also sets your HP to 1. So the idea is you basically, like, shoot yourself, and then you can't die for a few seconds, but the healer has to, like, panic heal you. So sometimes you can really fuck yourself over if the healer, like, casts a really big heal on you to save you, and then you immediately Super Bolide in a panic and shoot your health back down to 1. That definitely hasn't happened to me before. But that said, Super Bolide is actually quite a strong ability. I mean, it's an immunity. But I would say the trade-off of having to get your HP down to 1 is really not that bad, especially if you're communicating with your healer. In Pugs, it can be tricky. Because if the healer doesn't realize that you're about to, like, fucking shoot yourself, then they may, like, not know what's going on and accidentally let you die. But if you're communicating, like, in a raid, you can say, popping Super Bolide, and the healer knows to really quickly top you off. I believe there's actually a White Mage spell that full heals a player, so they can line that up right after you Super Bolide. We're gonna talk to the Flame Officer. Oh, wait, no, we don't have to do that? Is it different now? Thought I had to talk to the Flame Officer and choose. Is my brain going on the fritz? Where's Tataru? Oh, she's out here. I wonder if it's faster to use a Vesper Bay teleport ticket there. Probably not. Anywho. This part, for the record, I actually did not test on my previous playthrough. This is where I stopped. I didn't want to do a Freet again, because at the time I actually had a decently long queue, and I was like, yeah, I'll stop here. I can do the rest off memory. Okay, so first things first. Actually, no, first things first, let's teleport to ul'dah. I should do Laminsa last. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I should be responsible to do it last. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, tank immunities. So, as far as I know, I mean, all tank immunities have their place. I know that the Dark Knight one, it's not bad, but in my opinion, it's like the least valuable. This thing's good, right? It's like identical. The Dark Knight one is basically Purgatory. It's slightly better Purgatory, so it's not, like, as useless as Purgatory is. And I'm sorry for any Purgatory fans out there, but Purgatory is useless as a Death Knight ability. There's just, like, pretty much no reason to actually run it. I will say one of the other issues with Purgatory is, generally speaking, in the modern day, Purgatory is a talent, and it's usually on a talent row, and it competes with another mitigation ability. So usually, it's like, why run one of the worst cheat death abilities in the game when you can just run, it's Conjurer's Guild, right? I always forget, because the name's weird. Like, it's like, why run one of the worst cheat death abilities in the game? No, it's not. It's Mikedo's Amphitheater. Crap. And yeah, you have that or, like, a flat mitigation ability. So, the choice is easy there. That said, as far as Final Fantasy immunities go, I forget the name of the ability is. Admittedly, Dark Knight is my least played tank. I think it looks cool, but I've just never gotten around to leveling it, partly because it takes so long to level. I know it technically starts at 30, and the others start at, like, Oh, and then here I can do this. Yeah, Dark Knight technically starts at 30, whereas the other ones start at, like, 1, or obviously Gunbreaker starts the highest. But, like, I leveled Warrior through the main story quest, and I also kind of, like, half-leveled Paladin with it, and then I got Paladin basically up to 30 by, like, doing some side leveling while doing the main story quest, and then when I was doing Palace of the Dead, I mostly played Paladin, so I got a ton of levels that way. So really, it was much easier to level, and then obviously Gunbreaker starts really high as it is. So to me, Dark Knight ended up being the one that took me the longest to actually level, because I didn't unlock it until, like, very, very late. And the end result that is that it's the tank that I've played the least by far. So I don't remember a lot of the ability names. Though I do think it looks cool. It's definitely something, like, one of my goals after I finish all my speedrunning stuff. Obviously, I have a lot of prep to do for Endwalker, because, I mean, as much as I love speedrunning, my main focus in any MMO is raiding. I do love the Final Fantasy story, don't get me wrong, so I'm gonna fully enjoy the Endwalker story. I'm not gonna skip through anything on launch. I'm gonna play through that as slow as I goddamn feel like, just to get the full experience. But really, in MMOs, raiding is my end goal. To me, the speedrun stuff is more of like a fun additional challenge on top of that. So this is a challenge I set for myself a while ago, and I'm going to see it through. But I actually would like to try and maybe get some Eden's like promise and whatnot done. Because I did, I think it was Eden's Verse was the second tier. That was the one that I did on Savage. I didn't fully complete it, but I did a good bit of it. And Eden's Promise I have not touched yet, not even on normal difficulty. So I'm going to go through that at some point. I definitely want to get that done. And then going into Endwalker, I definitely want to get back into Savage raiding again. I obviously love doing that. So I want to make sure that I have all 4 tanks like prepared for the expansion. And right now, why is my phone buzzing? Ugh. Let me make sure it's not important. No, it's not important, just random Discord. Now I talk to them. Okay, so I wasn't crazy. I was just thinking a few quests ahead. Now we're going Immortal Flames. Partly because it's, in my opinion, the fastest, and also because Raban is cool as heck. What was I saying before I completely blanked? Yeah, tanks. Yeah, so I have Gunbreaker, like, fully set up. Warrior and Paladin, I think, are almost caught up, in terms of, like, gear and whatnot, and then Dark Knight, I have a ways to go. But even before then, I was talking about immunity, so... personally, I think Paladin's is generally considered to be the best, because it has no downsides. It's just like, you select a zone on the ground, and in that zone, you are immune to damage. Now, there are some weaknesses to that, but it is pretty good. But I would say overall, the most versatile immunity is probably Warriors. Like, unless they've changed it, Holmgang roots you in place, but makes you immune. And generally speaking, rooting yourself in place is not a major downside if you know when it's going to happen. So this is Horizon. Western Town. Yeah, okay. That's where it is. Like, obviously getting rooted in place randomly would be bad, but if I know that a, like, one-shot mechanic is about to come out, I can, like, pre-pop Holmgang and just, you know, immune through it. It's really not that much of a downside. But, yeah, I mean, there's, like, weaknesses to every single one, technically. Probably, in my opinion, Dark Knight has the biggest weakness, because I think it, like, it still kind of functions like Purgatory with, like, overkill damage. So it's not, like, a true immunity, even if it mostly functions like one. Unless they reworked it, they might have reworked it, I have no idea. Super Bolide obviously has the weakness of reducing you to 1, but admittedly I think that's a pretty not-important weakness. And then Paladins, you have to stay within a zone or you lose the immunity, and Warrior, you get rooted in place. But overall, all of them are very, very powerful abilities. Now that said, I completely forget why I got onto this topic. Sometimes I just start talking. I forget where I was going with it. Alright. So my build is missing. Well, I got blinded? By what? No wonder I was doing so little damage. This guy moved in. Can I hit him? Oh, yeah, he's just in range. Nice. Some mobs are going to spawn back there. Okay, I'm going to try to run over there to get good AoE on them. They're all grouped up. Come on. Oh, that guy went fast. All good, though. I can cleave them down here. Might actually be able to AoE all of them if I stand right here. Yeah! 4 targets. Need to shift a little bit. A little bit more. And now they're dead, but... Oh, magic technique. That one guy back there should be able to finish off that archer. Kill this guy. He will heal. AoE, because he moved in range for some reason. Now we just gotta burn through this. Where is it going? Oh, I see. You trolling me right now? That's really dumb. I stun it? Okay, I can. I probably should have done that. I just didn't expect it to constantly run all over the place. It's going again! This has to be a bug. There's no way. Okay, after this drill cannons, it's probably going to try to move again. So, stun it. Somehow he got out of range immediately. Okay. Love it. That's annoying. Okay, Hall of Flames, so ul'dah. It's gonna be a little bit, I think, before we get to the next dungeon, which I want to say is 1,000 Miles of Toto-rak. Could be misremembering. This guy. That's a long loading screen. This thing again? My little chocobo. Right, that's the one. Presents a flame chocobo. Okay, so then I have to go to the Waking Sands, right? So I pray return, then I get this as the reward. Why did that interrupt it? God damn. Okay. So he hands this in. Then we go back to ul'dah. Then we get our chocobo. And Nice. Now, when I get my chocobo, I'm actually going to pause the timer and fix my UI. Because as I mentioned, I'll basically be copying over my UI, so I consider anything that happens in terms of UI management, that will be off the timer, because in an actual speedrun, I would have already done that, and I'm doing this once again to give myself an accurate measurement. I know I'm repeating that a lot. That's partially so I don't get flamed in the comments for pausing the timer and cheating, even though it's only for my own personal measurement, but I'm also trying to justify it to myself, right? Like, I know that I don't like having to pause the timer, but I need to remind myself, no, this is important, you're trying to get an accurate measurement. So it's as much for me as it is for people in the comments. Now, here we go. Flame Quartermaster, it's this thing. Flame Chocobo, whatever. Then I have to present it to him, right? No, it's... What NPC do I have to present it to? To present a Flame Chocobo issuance to Mimigun. Do I have to small talk? Game? Okay, pause timer while I figure out what is happening here, because this might be a bug. To obtain your personal chocobo, you must present Mimigun with a Flame Chocobo issuance. I have this. This document can be obtained, blah blah blah. Present it to Mimigun. That's not his name. I saw Mimi, and where the hell is Mimigun? Am I blind? Where? I'm fucking retarded. Probably shouldn't use that word, but you know. No insult to people who are mentally handicapped. I'm just using it as a derogatory term to describe myself. Because, God, how the hell did I miss that? You know what, here. I'm gonna let the timer go, and I'm gonna sit here in shame as that timer ticks up to make up for me being a complete idiot. That's going on the timer. We're gonna give it a full minute. It's gonna hit 52. Oh my goodness. How the hell... I saw similar letters, and my brain just went like... Not even gonna try to explain what was going on up there. I will give myself time to check my inventory. Screw it. Level 18 weapon coffer. Is this actually an upgrade? It's a side grade, so not really. Return to inventory. Return to inventory. Return to inventory. Yeah, okay, that sounds about right. And I can just put that there, put that there. Don't need that, but I'll put it there anyway. Okay. I'd say about a minute and a half penalty for being a dumbass is probably warranted. Then I have to name it. But it hasn't loaded in yet because... Game, thank you. That is the name of my cat. I name all my chocobos after my cats. Okay, use this. And now I can actually pause the timer because I'm going to really quickly make adjustments to my UI. So this has probably been a long time coming. But I really hate the spaces between the bars, so HUD layout. Move this up here. Gonna try to make it as symmetrical as possible. Otherwise, it'll drive me crazy. Okay, that looks good. No, no, that's not right. It's not lining up perfectly. Okay, that looks good. Maybe? I'll have to see after the fact. It's kind of hard to tell from a glance. That looks good too. But I drag this over here. I have to enable it though. I have to go in here, hit hotbar 7, save. Then go over here, hit hotbar 8, save. Okay, no, so... Yeah, so it did copy over the contents of my hotbars. Wait, it copied over... Okay, there we go. Yeah, you can see it. So you have, like, my gun breaker set and stuff. We'll clear that out. Now, I remember it wasn't exactly... Okay. Yeah, okay, that's good. Now I'm gonna save and look. This isn't perfectly aligned. This seems fine with these 4 bars. Yeah, I feel like those are good. But I want this to be maybe one little bit up. Like so. Is that... Maybe a little bit down. I know, this is frustrating. But believe me when I say that this is going to drive me absolutely crazy if I don't figure it out and make it look absolutely perfect. If the bars are ever so slightly off, it will frustrate me. I also, yeah, I want a little bit more space between them. So I think that should be good. Okay, so now they're not, like, right on top of each other, and... I think that's about as good as I'm gonna get it. Okay, I'm fine with that. Now... Can remove all of that. Materia extraction... All this stuff can go. I like to have return up here, roughly. I'm gonna put these things up there. Obviously, I won't need the other ones. I will need dancing a little bit. Gazelle greens and marmot steak can go... I want them to be here, not on the top row. We'll save a space in the top row for future items. Vesper Bay Aetherite ticket can go there. Let's move it around. I'll probably use this more. Then potions, I'm fine. I want that keybound. The reason I'm not keybinding this is because I don't use it frequently enough and I don't want to fat finger it. Like, if I fat finger an emote, then I actually end up losing time because I have to sit there and wait for the emote. So I want to make sure I manually press this when I need it for the thing. I also don't want to, like, fat finger buff food and have it up at a time when I don't want. Same with, like, return. I don't want to start a cast and then have to cancel it, that kind of thing. So I only keybind, like, combat abilities and some things that I want to quickly access. Like, teleport, I'm going to have to use a lot. So that is keybound. Because I really want to quickly be able to click it and then teleport. But return, we're not really going to be using a lot. So when I do, I'll probably have the foresight to, like, press it. But who knows? Maybe I'll change that. Do I have anything bound to Shift R? I don't. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to bind return. I'm also going to bind the Vesper Bay Aetherite tickets. Why not? I'm sitting here making excuses for why to have less keybinds. There's never a good reason to have less keybinds. It's always efficient, except for fat fingering. I will not make keybinds for these because I do not want to accidentally fat finger it and lose time, because I do accidentally fat finger stuff. But when I thought about it, I'm like, you know, if I start this cast, I can instantly cancel it and it doesn't consume the cooldown. So there's no reason to not make it more efficient. But these things, those animation lock me, and that is not something that I'm comfortable accidentally doing. God knows I consume potions randomly because of fat fingering enough times, and randomly consume my sprint. I'm really bad at fat fingering stuff. Now, hotbar, it's after Shift T. So let's do Shift R and Shift B. I have it there like as a way of like mentally remembering it. So when I like put my one finger on Shift, it's like, okay, I need to return. What is the keybind I have for return? But then if it's R, I can really quickly like identify like, oh, R for return. Okay, then Shift R, boom. And that makes it easier to like adjust the muscle memory. And then I have Shift G for mount. I'm not going to do Shift M, so Shift G is like, it's good enough. Then where's my mount? So, mounts guide, chocobo over there. Okay. Believe that's everything. And resume timer. So, speak with Vorsail Helio at Adder's Nest. Or Vorsai Helio? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce these, like, Frenchy names. I'm sorry. Don't kill me. Don't guillotine me, bro. It's this way, right. Oh, nope. Ah! I forgot. I want to grab items, and then Gazelle Greens. I'm going to pick it up here. Just 99 bunches. Could make a stupid joke there, but I'm not going to. Okay, Vorsai Helio. That's what I'm going with. I'm probably butchering that. Speak with Midney at West Shore Pier. Right, okay. So, one thing I do remember... I should be doing this. Central Shroud. I want to go and quickly unlock my Chocobo combat thing. Just because it's like, it's free damage, pretty much. And it takes like 2 minutes. This is something I wasn't entirely sure if I wanted to do. The world record does it. And I kind of sat there and like... thought it over. Wait, do I not unlock it now? Maybe I don't unlock it now. Fuck if I know. I didn't pay enough attention. That's what you get. Pay more attention. And this won't happen to you. How do I get the Chocobo combat thing? Send it my way? Fucking item. Ah, I need to do more research. But hey, I mean, this is why we're doing it. It's... Forget. I don't remember the Gridania Aetherites. Lancer's Guild. Ah, I should have gone with my gut. I thought it was Lancer's Guild, but I second-guessed myself. Okay, Sweep Limpier, yeah. So we're going down there, Hawthorne Hut. What am I doing? I have a Chocobo now. I'm so dumb. Oh no. Why is my brain like this? Okay. That's my one forget that I have a mount now mistake of the run. I really am not on a good, like, 5 minutes right here. This has just been stupid mistake after stupid mistake. Ah. And grab the aetherite, as is tradition. Now, I do know I didn't mount up on my chocobo for a little bit there. I stand by that. For shorter distances, if you have sprint, it is definitely faster to use sprints. I timed out, like, some of the mount differences. Obviously, you don't have, like, a measuring stick in the middle of the run, so you kind of have to play it by ear. But I did find that unless you're going, like, straight distances without talking to people for, like, a considerable amount of time, it's just faster to walk. Because you also have to remember, when I'm using a chocobo, I have to dismount, and that's like a second of animation time. It doesn't seem like a lot, but yeah, the 1 second or so, how long is it? It's like a second or a second and a half time it takes to summon them out, combined with the second it takes to interact. For short distances, it's literally just faster to walk. There, obviously, was a long enough gap that justify it. Whoops. I'm not super familiar with this area. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is the fastest. But it's so dark, I can't see shit. Okay, yeah, no, this was probably the fastest way, I think. And then coming up is the quest where I prepared the dance emote for. It used to be 8, now it is only 3 times that you have to use it. So this one, so we're gonna cancel it. Perfect. Now, before I knew about that emote cancel, imagine having to do that full dance emote 8 times. Oh boy. And it's a long emote. So, emote cancel. Nice. Nice. Another thing here. It's faster to sprint instead of mounting up and then dismounting. Especially for stuff like this where you can do it from a distance. Sprinting is actually surprisingly fast. It's almost as fast as mount speed until you get mount speed increases, and then obviously flying mounts are significantly faster, but ground mounts without a speed increase, which is something that you get while doing the questline, are only slightly faster than sprinting. So if you have sprint up and you know you're not going to need it for a bit, it's sometimes just faster to use it instead of mounting. Now here we mount. This might be worth sprinting, maybe, but I don't have it up. Okay. So I can kill one of these. Might have been worth a sprint, but I'll save it just in case. Toto-rak. Now this is a sprint. It's that brownie bush over there. I'm gonna gamble and say this is probably worth a sprint. Probably, yeah. Since I still had it active. Also, probably should have mentioned this. You might notice I do not have the Chocobo Mount song enabled. Hate to say it, but I find it extremely annoying. There are a lot of good soundtracks in Final Fantasy XIV. In my opinion, the Chocobo mounted theme is not one of them. That may be an unpopular opinion. Like, the first few times you hear it, it's fine. But every single time I mount up and it's like... It's like, it's too, like, over the top. And especially the fact that like, I'll mount up for a short bit, so I hear dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, then I dismount. And then it's back to the, like, peaceful Gridania music that you hear now. And then I mount up 5 seconds later, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I could not get through it. It's just too, like, flow-breaking. Like, if I was just listening to the Chocobo theme for a while, maybe I'd be like, okay. But if, like, the Chocobo theme starts, then it's back to Gridania music. Then it's back to the Chocobo theme. At that point, I'm just like, oh, no, make it stop. Okay, so we take the Aetherite at the end for that one. So, East Shroud. And even though I still have sprint up, because I'm going to be running for an extremely long duration over there, it's better to just bite the bullet, waste the rest of my sprints, and mount up. I don't think that that sprint was a waste, per se. But it should be recharged by the time we need it, because it's already almost, like, 30 seconds left, and with the, talking to this NPC, we should be fine. What? Search for clues in the forest. I don't think it really matters if I get aggro there, but it's just a mildly annoying thing to have to deal with. I think all of these guys are ranged, or melee, except for this one guy, so I'm going to make sure I position myself to where I can hit him. And I'm going to try not to hit that giant gnat, if possible. Oh, that was perfect. Don't, no, get away from me! Yes. What? Okay. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like without AoEs, it's just so much slower to do a lot of these quests. Now, healers do have dots, and dots can be relatively powerful. You know, like, multi-dotting up a group of mobs is definitely not something to scoff at. That is still quite a powerful way to do damage to multiple targets, and that absolutely is how you want to be playing as White Mage, from what I've gathered. That being said, I think if it's one or the other, just pure AoE tends to be better, unless the dots are, like, ridiculously powerful. That said, like, so one of the reasons why Guardian Druid, for instance, is so broken in my WoW speedruns is because it has both. Now, in high levels, it's balanced, generally speaking. But at low levels, when you just have the passive ticking of Moonfire and just Thrash spam, you can cleave down immense... Voice just got caught in my throat. I hate when that happens. But yeah, you can cleave down immense groups of mobs. Also, I do think that Final Fantasy has, like, an AoE cutoff point, where, like, there's an AoE cap, but it's way higher than WoW. Like, I almost never notice it. Like, for all intents and purposes, Final Fantasy doesn't really have an AoE cap, because it's so high that you basically will never actually encounter it. Whereas in WoW, you can really feel it now that they've just gimped everybody in Shadowlands with a 5-target AoE. I still stand by the fact that that is one of the worst decisions they made in Shadowlands. Like, that probably single-handedly dealt a huge blow to Shadowlands' reception. I know for me it did. It's not something I really talk about because it's kind of subtle, but one of the main things that I dislike about Shadowlands, for instance, is the really clunky gameplay. I really hate the feel of most things right now. And especially for tanks, a lot of that does come down to how weak AoE feels relative to how it used to be. So, one of the main reasons why I feel that a lot of combat feels bad, and why a lot of stuff like, you know, Mythic Plus or Torghast, for instance, feels really bad, is because of the fact that you can't do big pulls. You're not able to play as aggressively, in my opinion, as fun a way as you could in previous expansions. And I just think that's silly. I've done plenty of really big pulls in Final Fantasy that you've seen either just in the speedrun or maybe not, but yeah, it's... I think... Oh yeah, I get Rage of Alone now. I've been using my 1 and 2. You just didn't notice that I actually have my full rotation available in instances now. Okay, I should be able to get this with a Riot Blade. What? That feels a little bit bullshit. Gonna drop a Rage of Alone into you. Should be able to get you with a Fast Blade. Pop my damage ability and Rage of Alone. Oh, that's a bad breath. Nope. Nice. I do believe it's faster to take the Aetheryte and run from there. It might be relatively minor, but I think it is definitely faster, even if only by a few seconds. Because the distance of here to here is much faster than up here all the way down. Obviously, you have to add in the time it takes to, you know, like, dismount, do the teleport, then load screen, etc., but I still think it's faster. Now, I will note that one thing that I'm not factoring into my calculations is gil cost. So, a lot of times, I would say you can afford to be stingy with your teleports. I know that I'm just, like, teleporting willy-nilly, and it may only be, like, 100 gil per teleport, but if I wasn't trying to speedrun, I would probably have just run that distance and saved the 100 gil, because for that short a time save, if I'm not speedrunning, you know, 100 gil adds up if you do it enough times. So, you know, be stingy, save your gil, I'm only doing teleports all over the place because I have to. And it definitely does feel nice when you, Bent Branch Meadows, where the hell is that? Oh yeah, there we go. But it really feels nice when you finish, like, all of the quests in Final Fantasy, and you're sitting there with, like, 2 to 3 million gil, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is a lot of money. And admittedly, in the grand scheme of things, like, there are people with way more than that. Like, buying a mansion costs, like, multiple hundred gil. So. Don't believe I can get my Chocobo yet, right? Yeah, I don't know why the Chocobo quest is not appearing for me. I could have sworn I'm supposed to do it around now. I'll have to look into what I did wrong. Either way, I really don't think it's that important. I think, you know what, because I don't think I did it correctly, I'm just not going to grab the Chocobo, and I'm going to see how much of a difference that makes. Because, generally speaking, I don't think it makes a huge difference, because you also have to remember that for a lot of this run, I'm going to be so over-leveled towards the end in any of the open world sections that I'm going to kill things ridiculously fast regardless. The additional minor damage from a Chocobo won't really matter. Now, that's just me guessing. It could matter more than I, like, realize, but that's my initial impression. Oh, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, so mansions in this game can cost, like, hundreds and hundreds of millions of gil. So, technically speaking, in the grand scheme of things, 3 million gil isn't a ton. Now, admittedly, I only have 4 right now on my, my main, but that's also because I lost my house a while ago because I was dumb and I forgot to log back in and renew it. And I just spent, like, I don't even know how much money. I don't really want to think about it. But I got up to, like, 20 million gil, and I spent quite a bit getting my house. And then, yeah, I'm down to 4 mil now. It's sad. But I've also invested, like, a ridiculous amount of money into getting my professions up. And I would recommend doing that. I mean, like, some people might say, oh, well, I leveled my professions without spending a penny, and they probably did it, like, 5 times the amount of time that I did. I actually think that a profession guide is... Where? Hawker's Alley. That's in Lagnaska. Okay. I did not remember this part of the questline. Why? I'm so dumb. Why did I hit escape? That's not the button I meant to press. I'm so dumb. Okay. And then we can TP to Hawker's Alley. But yeah, so... I've looked at a, few different crafting guides before. Both when I was initially, leveling up my crafting. I couldn't find any really good crafting guides. And I also looked at some of them recently to see, am I missing something? Are there really good crafting guides out there? And there are some that are, okay. I'm not going to sit here and say every single crafting guide on YouTube is garbage. I think a lot of them kind of miss the point, I feel. Fisherman's Guild. Right? Yeah. A lot of them kind of miss the idea of what a crafting guide should be. So many of them are focused on extremely high-level crafts, and I remember the first time I watched all of these videos, I'm like, what are all these different things? What are all these different buzzwords they're throwing at me? I have no idea what any of this means. Airport. No, I should just be able to go to Airport. That's going to be faster. I already unlocked the Aetherite. And it got overwhelming. I was like, alright, I'm just going to figure this shit out, because I don't know what all this endgame crafting shit they're talking about is. They talk about a million different abilities that I don't even have, and I'm like, well, what's the efficient way? Okay, so taking the ferry would have been faster. Now I know. Now, one thing I've been thinking of doing, not right now the focus is the speedrun, but maybe after I finish the Rumberborn world record. before I go on to get the Heaven's Ward and Stormblood world records, because I will be doing that. We're going to take this all the way to the end of Shadowbringers, and that, admittedly, is something pretty much nobody else has done. I think a few people have optimized, or not optimized, but like run Heaven's Ward and Stormblood, but I don't think it is optimized. I think it's pretty rough. I've thought of a few different ways to break it in half. But nobody's run Shadowbringers yet. And definitely nobody's like made a concerted effort to like push the time down on anything past the Realm Reborn. So I'll be doing that. I will be doing every single expansion. I might at the end, and this is a maybe. This I will admit is 100% based on YouTube views. If these videos do well, I will consider doing a single segment, level 1 to end of Shadowbringers speedrun. Now that thing is quite literally going to be close to 48 hours, which is why I would need a good fucking incentive, right? Like, I'm not just gonna speedrun that for nothing, because that, quite literally, I think, going by current world records, that would be somewhere in the realm of literally 48 hours. But I'm willing to do that challenge. But that is like a kind of thing that I would put like a goal for. Doing it in segments is the way that the categories are actually broken up into on speedrun.com. As far as I know, not a single person has actually attempted to do an entire main story quest speedrun from beginning to end. It's all broken up into segments. So I'd be willing to take on that challenge, but yeah, that's very much a maybe type of thing. Also, I love this track. That's like probably top 5 tracks in the game for me, even though it's like kind of a random thing, like it's from one of the Fates. God, it sounds so good. Ah, I missed the jump. You have to land on the railing and then jump. Only saves a few seconds, but I mean, it looks pretty cool when you pull it off. I'll have to practice that jump, because that is one of the harder ones that I remember. Got paralysis. That's not good. Leave them all down. It's definitely not fun. Wait, is Rage of Cologne... I'm kind of unsure if Rage of Cologne makes it more worth it to pass this on... 3 targets. I don't think Rage of Cologne does enough, because this does 300, this only does 350. Obviously, single target, it's unchanged. But so let me do the math. This is 120, so that'd be 360. Rage of Cologne is 350, so average of 350, 300, and 200 is something. Let me try to mental calculate that while I'm navigating the terrain. 250. I'm not gonna try to napkin math. Let me just add it up. 650, 850 divided by 3 is. My brain is not able to figure that out. I'm sorry. I'm really not good at mental math. Like, if I sit down, I'd like to think that I'm not really shit at, like, paper math, right? Like, I mean, I've done college-level math classes and done, well, not amazing, but decently well. I fucking hate calculus. But, like, I could pass them with decent grades. Like, you know, I didn't fail out of college math. But, it's very much the kind of thing that is hard for me to focus on unless I'm sitting down with a paper and going, okay, let me fucking calculate this. I don't know why, but something about math makes it really hard for me to just, like, do it in my head off the fly, especially big numbers. Big numbers, I should say. I have really hard times calculating. I can do really quick, like, you know, multiplication table levels of math. Like, if it's below 100, I can try to, like, figure that out, but if it gets above that, my brain's just like, ah. but I don't think it would be worth it. No, because, like, either way, we know that the DPS of Total Eclipse on 3 targets is 360. And because it's not even 900, I know that the DPS of these 3 is not even 300. So, yeah, it wouldn't be more. I don't know if what I said there makes sense. I'm trying to, like, mentally justify it to myself. A Total Eclipse is still better on 3 targets, is the TLDR you can take away from that. Though you probably already knew that, like, 30 seconds to a minute ago, and you probably did the math yourself in the time it took me to, like, stumble through that mental train of thought. Like, yeah. Sure. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh! Almost fell. Now, if I remember correctly, I don't actually need to fight any of those. And maybe if I'm... Okay, no mob spawns there. It's hard to remember. Then this will probably be an upgrade, so I should open that when I get a chance. Equip this, return to inventory. Okay. And then equip that, return to inventory. If you're wondering why I'm doing return to inventory, it's 1, so I can quickly sell it all later. And 2, that way, when I go to equip here, do I have to finish this? I don't. No, why am I attacking these guys? I just said I don't have to do this, and then meanwhile, here I am, my dumbass is fighting them. Leash, please. There we go. Yeah, so that way, when I open my armory, it immediately snaps to whatever the piece of gear I have is, so I can do that really quickly. There is, technically speaking, a tab that says recommended gear, or a thing that says recommended gear. I don't like to use that because I don't find that it's technically 100% consistent. There are times when the actual gear that I want to equip isn't the best. Like, for shields, sometimes. I think it always equips highest item level, but there might be times where if I have a really, really good Tarj, I might want to take that over kind of a mediocre kite shield. If the difference is very small. But if the kite shield has, like, a higher item level, then it might just equip that anyway. So that is something that I definitely am not doing because I'm lazy. It is a personal choice because I don't feel that recommended gear is 100% accurate. For DPS, you could probably argue that it is most of the time. This guy got to kill. If something has that little icon over it, it's usually required. But if it doesn't have that icon, you can just kind of ignore it. What? I just talked to him. I guess I did it too fast. Okay. Then we have to kick his ass. But yeah, it's the deep Furions that I really want to get rid of. Those are the healers, I believe. I'm going to try to cleave them down as much as possible. It looks like he's a warrior, though. I thought that was the name of the ones that are healers, but maybe I'm really confused right now. I'm gonna try to kill all these guys to make sure that when new mobs spawn, the NPCs don't drag them to different corners of the map, because that's what happened there. Unfortunately, they're too spread out for me to like properly cleave them. And sprint to get back. He just cured himself. I wasn't paying attention to that. Whoops. Casts that really fast. Why didn't it tab target? I did not hit tab. I'm gonna grab the Aetherite over here real fast. Could also use my food now before I forget. One thing I need to look into is if there's a good way to spend my gil. The problem is a lot of like good quality like gear, food, or whatever you want to get through crafting. So it's unrealistic to really get it in this run, because I don't know if I mentioned this, but like any sort of external things like the auction house, the mailbox, blah-de-blah, is not available in the speedrun, for obvious reasons. I mean, WoW had similar rules like that, so I cannot use the equivalent of the auction house, which in this game is known as the market board. I cannot do that. It wouldn't be fair, and it's also against the rules. So the only use for my gil is basically for teleports, and for anything I can get off vendors. But, admittedly, I'm not too sure if there's anything good that I can get off vendors, because a lot of the good vendors use tokens. They don't actually use gil as, like, a currency. Gil is definitely meant to be more of, like, a player-focused currency. Okay, take that. Looks like my belt was better, I guess. Can't be mounted in order to do that. Now remember to do that. And the inventory. Okay, 1,000 miles of toto-rak. How lucky am I? Okay, so... yeah, so see here? We take this. But this is technically higher item level, even though this actually has more stats, and it's a Tarj. So we prefer it. But I'm not going to test it, but I can almost guarantee that recommended gear would equip that. And we do not want that to happen. Now, admittedly, this is one of the less ideal dungeons to do quests during, because I believe it's going to tell me to go to Buscarone next. Or after the dungeon, that is. And he is in an area that doesn't have an Aetheryte near it, so I cannot just quickly get back there. I still think, hopefully, this is actually going to be a long queue. Can't believe I'm saying that, but I want to be able to get some of these job quests done. It definitely is starting to feel a little bit frustrating that I don't have Shield Blob. And while these are still, like, dungeons that are sub-level 30, people are going to start to give me weird looks if I get to content that is level 30 plus and I do not have my job crystal. At that point, I feel like I will be actively serving as a detriment to other players, and I don't want to do that. That's also one of the weird parts of speedrunning Final Fantasy XIV. Because you need to do things that involve other players, I would honestly say there is an argument to be made. Now, I don't know if it 100% is, because I know that some of the nice things about doing your class quest is you're going to get good gear to meet item level checks later on by finishing it. So that's one of the main reasons to do it. But it could be argued that the amount of time it takes to get all of your class quests and the upgraded abilities wouldn't be worth the time it takes to actually finish the speedrun. But I almost feel like you would get, like, so much shit from people if you went into, like, a really high-level dungeon. Like, imagine being at level 50 and not even having done your level 5 class quest. That is definitely one of those things where the community stigma influences it a lot. Oh, yeah, no, wait. I need to return the goods to the merchant. So, in, like, the World of Warcraft speedrun, I don't really need to care about what I do within the run, because everything that happens in the run only affects me. I'm never engaging with other players. I guess the worst I could do is, like, snipe a tag from somebody. I guess that could affect other players, maybe, but, like, half the time, that's out of your control. You're not really going to intentionally snipe a tag. It's just going to be you go for the same mob and you happen to get it first. Now, I will say there are times where I'm competing for spawns, and I do need to be a bit cutthroat about it when I'm speedrunning, but still, it is not a widespread thing in the WoW speedrun. But in Final Fantasy, I genuinely have to consider how I'm making myself look, and whether I'm, like, negatively impacting other people's experiences when I'm doing speedruns. And, I mean, obviously, I'll do that, because I don't want to be a toxic player. But I dislike the fact that I can't even consider faster theoretical strategies because of the fact that, yeah, I'm forced to engage with other players. The stigma kind of outweighs any strategic potential of just not doing class quests. So I don't know. I think, well, first of all, one really good way to do that is to make it a requirement. I think that if they made it a requirement to do your class quests, which it should be, I'm actually very surprised it's not at this point in time. There should definitely be, at least for your job crystal, I think there should be at some point, like, a requirement of, if you want to continue with the level 30 quest line, you need to get your job crystal, or something to that effect. Because that would solve the problem. That way, the only way to be efficient is to continue with the quest line, and the quest line requires you to do your quests. So those quests now become a requirement for the speedrun, and now I don't need to feel like I'm being inefficient, and I also don't need to feel like I'm making other people's time worse. So that, to me, seems like the logical solution. To me, actually, it feels like the only solution. I'm not really sure what else they could do. Because, like, obviously they could detach important things like abilities from the job quests, but then I would say that makes the job quests completely irrelevant. So I actually like the idea of having, like, these quests that you have to go through Like, maybe they're not, like, super impactful, but they do teach you, like, a little bit as a new player. And having to do, like, these quests to unlock abilities, make those abilities feel more impactful early on. Like, oh, yeah, I finally unlocked, like, you know, shield lob or something like that from doing this quest. It feels good. Now, unfortunately, this is the first wall. So, yeah, this is problematic. We actually went too far in the other direction. I wanted to have time to get my quest done. But now I went from having instant queues to having so much time that now I can't even progress. So the reality is, now just to show, you can't... Oh, wait, no. I'll wait, and then it's going to say, unable to join quest battles while using the duty finder. So, yeah. Assuming I'm going to give it until 7.5 minutes. At that point, I will pause the timer. I think, if anything, what we've learned is I need to do my speedrun at a time where it is very, very late in Japan. I'm going to do tests on this. I'll probably, like, test the queue time a few more times. Like, on future test runs, just to make sure. But this might mean that I need to start the speedrun at, like, midnight, maybe? Well, if it's midnight for me... No, it wouldn't have to be midnight. It would have to be, like, noon. Because if it's noon for me, it would be, like, midnight in Japan. I don't know. I'll test it. Maybe, like, early morning for me. I don't know how it is for, like, evening in Japan. So maybe I should shoot for, like... noon, or I should shoot for, like, Japan's midnight to their early afternoon. Ideally, I would want to do this in North America, just so I can avoid these issues. Having to, like, figure out the time zones and stuff is just not great. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pause the timer. We're just gonna resume whenever the dungeon queue pops, because, yeah, obviously this is a little bit ridiculous. If you want to continue adding time onto my theoretical timer, go ahead. This is where I'm drawing the line at unreasonable. This is an unreasonable queue. Sure, the others were instant, but I still think having a 7.5-minute queue timer is just a bit too much. So, how am I gonna go about this? Now, I do have Hawk Manor after this. Maybe I'll stop before Hawk Manor. And I'll go do the rest of my job quests, get my job crystal, and stop there. But I don't know, because I do want to leave some of them open. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I want to do this. I'm trying to think it through. Let's, I'm gonna take a moment to just not comment, because if I have to think about, like, trying to fill the air with, like, what I'm thinking, I can't think as thoroughly. There we go. Oh, keep on. Resume timer. Cool. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do. There's a few different methods. I also don't want to... I thought about getting my job crystal. Maybe I will just make this a very long episode and just keep going. 1,000 mods of toto-rak. This place is a maze. Let's see if I remember it well enough. Yeah, that only restores 160 hit points max, so it's not great, but... I'm gonna try to use the most of these potions before I have to kill it. Yeah, to be completely honest, I forget where I'm going. This is not one of the dungeons that I retested, and 1000 Laws of Toto-rak is such a hard dungeon to memorize. It is quite literally just the most repetitive place in the world in terms of, like, room layout. It's so hard to think back to, like, what it looks like. I don't think this is it, right? Whatever. I'm gonna go this way just in case. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Can I get this? Yes. This is probably just a side room for bonus loot. If I had to guess. Someone got locked out, too. Oh, they can throw the door. Did you get anything there? No, doesn't feel like it. That felt kind of pointless, but okay. Maybe there was a reason that I went down that way? Jesus Christ. Can you see why I don't remember this dungeon? The only thing I remember about it is that I don't know where the fuck I'm going. It's just so many, like, offshoot hallways that all look exactly the same. Ah. I'm gonna need to practice this one. Is it this way? I feel like I'm going the right way. I'm probably dead wrong. There's another one of those Magitech photocell things. Maybe I can interact? Ooh, I got it! Let's go. I don't know what that does, but I'm gonna be proud of it. I completely fat under the wrong button. Okay. Big hole. That's beautiful. Oh, that's a boss. That's promising. Did I accidentally go the right way? Huh. Now, the one thing I'm not sure is if there was any merit whatsoever to going into that side room at the start. Because there's this counter here for photocells. Those little green things that I keep picking up. But I don't remember what they do or how many I need. I assume if they were required to, like, do the boss fight or something, then the game would, like, literally say, you need to get these photocells before you enter this room, but I feel like we have a bunch. Somebody can start the boss fight. I'm gonna do this. That's not right. Sheila get locked out? Hello? Please don't let me die. What do I do? Okay, how many photocells do I need? I assume I need to use photocells to open the gate. Okay, only 4. But that means I didn't need the one in the side room. Yeah, so the side room was not mandatory. Right? Because I have 1 left over. Oh no. It's branching paths again. Aw, fuck. Okay, it's this way. Map for the win. I probably was gonna go that way and like walk 2 feet, hit a dead end, and go fuck. I do feel this is like, yeah, this is what most people think when they think like fantasy dungeon. Like, it's a very boilerplate dungeon, I guess. And I think I'm fine for one of those to exist, but admittedly it is not an aesthetic or design that I appreciate whatsoever. Like, I'm not a fan of Copperbell Mines, but I'd take that any day over this place. Oh, this healer is struggling. Now the question is, do I need to farm Magitech photocells? I haven't even seen any. Oh, that's a... Whoa, that's a lot of poison. Whew. This way. I'm gonna look at that. Nope. That's gonna close behind me, isn't it? I'm not falling for that. Photocell is generated. Huh. Interesting. I knew it! That would have been an easy way to get myself killed. So much about this stupid dungeon. Am I going? Let's try to. Whoa, that dealt a lot of damage. Okay, so I only have 2 photocells. 30? Yay for Nin? 4 photo. Aw, you're joking. Okay, shit. Oh, this is fun dungeon design. I knew there was a reason I hated 1000 Mods of toto-rak. Where the hell do I get more photocells? Okay, so that thing at the start was required, effectively. Just another of the same helmet. Where do I get these? Anything in there? Dear God. Am I really gonna have to route out 1000 Mods of toto-rak? Really? I feel like I'm being trolled. All this and there's no Magitech photocell? Are you kidding me? I dislike that. I greatly dislike that. I think everybody here is a new player, so it's not like they can help me. Wait, I walked right by one! How did I miss that? Oh, goodness gracious. No. I'm sorry, Sprouts. I'm supposed to be the veteran here. I'm supposed to have known, but I erased this from my memory. What? I, like, walked right past them all. Huh? How did I... How the hell did I... You know what? No. Hold on. I need to check side... Did I... No. Okay, so this is... This was the boss room, right? And this is another side room. I get that I already have enough. What the fuck? There's 2 paths? Oh, this is hurting my head. Ay. Follow me. Okay, I'm gonna come back in here unsynced later on in my main and just, like, figure out what the most optimal path through this stupid place is. Oh, goodness gracious. So apparently I walked right by a bunch of Magitech photocells, but here's the thing. Assuming I didn't miss any more, that means that the room at the beginning is required, because we had 5 going into the first boss room, and then I spent 4, and I had 1 left over, and I got 3 just by, like, randomly picking crap up off the ground that I apparently walked past. So, unless there's a 4th somewhere that I'm missing, that side room is required. Right, this... Well, this is a time loss. Oh well. I'll just have to do 1000 Mods of toto-rak better next time. Oh, no. Hold on a second, buddy. You have to wait on everybody. I may really think I was too funny. Oh, he's limit breaking? Woohoo! Good job. It's pretty rare to find somebody actually know how to use their limit break ability. And for those who aren't aware, I can't really do it as a tank, because the tank limit break is like... I don't want to call it worthless, because if I call it worthless, people are going to go, but it's Savage Raiding! Yeah, I know in Savage Raiding you actually use tank LB. I'm talking about, like, for the content that I'm going to be doing here. Am I going to die? Come on, man. You have 1 job, and that's to press cure. This isn't even hard. He's a white mage, too. So it's not like, he's completely... That door isn't open. I guess I have to go this way. Wait, no, I'm retarded. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, 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 nope. Why did I do that? I didn't interact with it. I'm so dumb! Oh. I do remember this part. This is the only part of 1000 Laws of Toto-rak I remember, because I just remember going through it and going, what the fuck is this? And I don't have shield lob to get rid of the fleshy pods. I have to walk into them manually. Mittens, you're gonna have to wait a minute. She's just sitting by the door, staring me down. Not this part. There's so much damage. Oh no! Why does this exist? Beat him! Oh no, wait, there's more. Ow. Oh my god, I forgot! How long does this go on? I don't remember it being this long! Even if you jump over it, it applies. Oh no, now there's a fork in the road? No, it's this way. It's this way. No, 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 no. Where are you guys going? No. 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 This is the path. Turn around. There we go. They got the idea. Ow. Ow. Ah. Please tell me this is the god damn it. How long is this? I don't remember this being so long. I thought that door was the end. I was like, oh thank god, it's over. Yeah, this would be a lot easier with shield lob. Where did he come from? Oh, I did not mean to do that. I didn't think I would immediately start the boss fight. Usually there's like a bit of a grace period where you can walk into the room without it starting the fight. I apologize, G. Jitsada. That is 100% my fault. I know they can't hear me, but it's a figurative apology. Whoa, tab target, come on. Oh my god, you're kidding. Come on. Man. Do I really have to manually click these? That's really annoying. Like, yes, I clearly want to tab target a fleshy pod far to my left instead of the thing directly in front of me. Like, yeah, please fix that, Square Enix. Wow, that is a long cutscene. Come on, healer. Come on. Jesus. Where do I stand? I forgot about this mechanic. Oh no. Why are they all the way over there? Oh dear lord, that was awful. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's probably the worst dungeon in the entire game. I really don't like 1000 Laws of Toto-rak. I already have this one, right? So I can pass. Oh, okay. I generally like to give healers commendations. I mean, I will say, some people are like, I always commendate my healer. Yeah, like, I feel like they should earn it, right? I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, this healer was trash, they don't deserve a commendation. But, like, if they just sat there and didn't heal me for, like, half the dungeon, maybe. I was probably still going to give that guy a commendation, because I know he's a sprout, I know he was trying. Oh. It teleported me. Right. So I can't do... Okay. Little Solace is East Shroud. I love how the quest reward is infinitely worse than the dungeon reward. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, but, like, I feel like they're similar item levels. They should at least be kind of similar quality, but... Turn to inventory, equip... I forgot about that emote. Right. I'm gonna type it, and then... Okay, here. Okay. Yeah, it does start a cutscene, so it's technically not super important that we skip the emote. But... I'm gonna pause here. Actually, we're stopping here, I should say. User macros... lookout... /lookout. Forgot that I needed to make that one. So now we have it for future runs. I'm gonna leave here. Technically, Vorsale, or Vorsai Huyo, however the fuck you want to say it, is in Gridania, so we will go there next time. I wanted to end this on the job crystals, but I was honestly expecting to get more of the job quests done while waiting in queue times, and I think I need to reconsider how exactly I want to do that. I might need to actually... I don't know, like... What I could do is obviously get some of the non-instanced parts done. Like, what I could do, so next time, in theory, I could go ahead and start by heading and finishing that thing in ul'dah. And then I could, then immediately after I'm done with that instance, continue with the main story quest. And then the moment I hit a dungeon queue, I continue along. But it's tricky, right? Because for the next dungeon, I think Hawk Manor I should be fine. I don't think I need Shield Lob for Hawk Manor. But I definitely do want to make sure that for some of the later ones, like by the time I reach Titan, I want to be a Paladin. I want to have that done. But that's going to require me to have done all of my quests up to level 30. Yeah, that is probably important. I'm just trying to think about how I want to go about this. What's the best way to go about this? I think that's kind of going to be required. So at the start of the next run, I'm going to try to remember to do this. And I'm probably going to do it the moment I wake up. So I don't know if I'll be able to get this uploaded. We're probably not going to see 2 uploads in one day. But I'm going to try to get this uploaded maybe by Saturday. Possibly might have it on Sunday. Or no, Sunday I should definitely have it. Saturday's the maybe. We'll see. I'm going to do the next thing in ul'dah to get my class quest done. Then I'm going to immediately go through the main story. Then what I'll do is when I reach Hawk Manor, if I have time, I will do some more of the class quests. Now, if it's instant queue or very close to it, after I finish Hawk Manor, I'm just going to buckle down and burn through all of my main story quests until I get my job crystal. Or not main story quests, class quests. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to burn through all those until I get my job crystal. It could be argued that I should finish some of these quests first, because some of them give you mount speed increases, so I'll finish Hawk Manor, then maybe I'll finish the part until I start the Titan arc. When I get to the beginning of the Titan arc, then I will go back to ul'dah. I think that's what I'll do. I really don't know, though. Obviously, the most efficient way to do it would be to just power through all of my class quests in a single sitting. And I think that might be the ideal way to do it. It's just, I'm trying to find what the ideal cutoff point would be. I think, honestly, maybe this might be the ideal time to go through them all. So maybe I'm not losing much time. I think the only issue is I got a bit, spooked by that long 1,000 Maws of toto-rak cutscene. But I might be overthinking it. Or, not cutscene, queue time. As you can see, it's getting late. My brain is, starting to melt. I'm just gonna stop here. I think, overall, It was a good session. The only thing that didn't go well is 1000 Maws of toto-rak, but, like, what can you do? Immediately after finishing this recording and beginning the, like, encoding process and blah, 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 I'm gonna hop onto my main and try to do some unsynced runs of 1000 Maws to try and make sure I get it down. I'll probably practice Hawkman or two. But, yeah, that is it for this part of the speedrun. Oh, I guess, yeah, I hit exit game, right? Whoops. I meant to hit log out. Oh, well. Either way, thanks for watching part 2. I will try to get part 3 out as soon as possible. Peace.